Discover the incredible power of love. A touching journey that will transform your life forever. In a small Midwestern town, Emma Wilson kept the diner running like clockwork, her smile the morning sun that warmed her community. Behind every coffee cup she filled and every plate she served lay stories of hope, love, and an unwavering dedication to family and neighbors. At 35, she felt like a warrior, battling financial strain and silent storms brewing at home, all while wearing her heart on her sleeve. Jake, her husband and a war veteran, roamed the house like a ghost, haunted by shadows of the past. Dinner conversations reduced to whispers, laughter muted, Emma wrestled with emotions heavy as lead. The diner, a stark reminder of a life she fought for, felt like a sanctuary to many. Regulars shared their lives over burgers and fries, and Emma absorbed their joy, her spirit swelling with each new day. Yet beneath her smiling surface lay an undercurrent of fear when she learned the community center, the heart of their town, was at risk of closing. Without it, her children and others would lose a safe haven, a place to find solace. Emma's determination sparked. Before the sun arose, she rallied her neighbors, claws drawn against the impending loss. "Together we can save it," she urged, her voice steady and sure, despite the weight of doubt peering over her shoulder. But not everyone saw the benefits of the center. A faction of wealthier residents loomed nearby, dismissing the needs of those who struggled. Emma felt her heart race, a rush of righteous indignation and fear swirling within. Could she battle these giants? Every day was a test of her resolve, and with every shift, the tension at home seeped into the core of her being. Days blurred into nights, with arguments popping like firecrackers around the dinner table. Jake, feeling overshadowed by Emma's strength, grew sullen. Each fight twisted into misunderstandings, not realizing they were both fighting demons birthed from love and responsibility. Emma's connection to her children wavered, slipping through her fingers like sand. The quiet nights were the hardest, her heart aching for the warmth they once held. Then one evening, amid the dishes and the laundry, clarity struck her like lightning. Emma discovered a forgotten talent: storytelling. Woven within her struggles were tales waiting to escape. With newfound energy, she shared stories from her waitressing days, spinning narratives infused with her heartache and joy, drawing the community closer, igniting the spark of unity she so desperately craved. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. At the charity event, emotions simmered like a pot ready to boil. Tensions flared as deep-rooted prejudices came to light. The room pulsed with energy, and Emma found herself standing at the center of it all, her heart racing. Could love truly conquer this divide? The air thickened with anticipation as families gathered, each face reflecting hope mingled with fear. In this moment she felt the full weight of what was at stake: her family, her town, their future. Would they rise together or fall apart? The answer lay just beyond the horizon, waiting for someone to make the leap, to pull them all back toward one another. Emma stepped into the spotlight, her heart a drumbeat of determination. Families huddled, eyes locked on her, populations divided by wealth and status. Yet here they were, gathered under the same roof. Every face told a story, and she felt tethered to each one, threading their narratives together in her mind. "Listen," she began, her voice cutting through the murmurs. "We all love this town. We all care about our children. But how can we let something so special slip away?" She swallowed hard, her throat dry, but her spirit soared with urgency. "We can't let fear or pride tear us apart." As soon as the words left her lips, a hush fell over the crowd. Emma caught a glimpse of her daughter, Lily, peeking from behind the legs of a neighbor, her innocent face glowing with hope. It snapped Emma back to her mission. This was for her children, for everyone who fought daily against the tide. From the back, a familiar voice spoke up. It was Mrs. Johnson, a longtime patron of the diner, her weathered hands raised in passion. "You're right, Emma. But what can we really do? They have deeper pockets than we do." Emma felt a warmth bloom in her chest. Encouragement sparked around the room as others began to nod their agreement. What if we organize events? Fundraisers? Potlucks under the stars? She suggested. People just need a reason to come together, to remember the good we can do when united. A man in a tailored suit stood up, his brow furrowed. Events are fine, Emma. But they won't save the center. We need real money and real support. His words sliced at her like knives, but she was prepared. What if I told you that love is our greatest resource? She challenged, her gaze fierce. What if each of us reached out, pulled together our time, our talents? Imagine a community coming together. No one needs to have more to give more. Applause rippled through the room, small at first, but it grew. Hope kindled in the air, flickering like candlelight. Emma felt a surge of determination. If she could inspire them to fight, they could save more than just a building, they could reconnect the very fabric of their town. But as excitement swelled, inspiration clutched her heart, threatening to overwhelm her. What if they tried and failed? What if Jake didn't support her dreams? Her thoughts spiraled briefly into darkness before the warmth of hope pulled her back with renewed vigor. She pressed on. Let us start today. Let us sign up for roles, come together. We'll plan a first event at the diner. Everyone is welcome. Uncertainty still swirled around, but it transformed into energy, igniting those eager to rejoin the warmth of community. At the edge of the room, Jake stood silently, blending into the shadows, his expression unreadable. Emma caught his eye, a fleeting moment of connection that made her heart flutter, an unspoken understanding that he too was struggling to find a path through the turmoil. By coming together, she concluded, we'll build more than we can ever lose. Cheers erupted, applause filled the room, and Emma felt alive among the pulsating heart of her community. But as the crowd began to plan their next steps, a worry stirred deep inside her. Could Jake find his way back to her through this whirlwind of ambition? Would her passion pull him closer or push him further away? The tension of uncertainty lurked, a growing shadow amidst the light. And as the night wore on, Emma couldn't shake the feeling this was just the beginning of their battle, and she feared it might come at a higher cost than she anticipated. As the evening deepened, the clamor of voices filled the diner, each one buzzing with ideas, laughter, and a shared sense of purpose. Emma tried to focus on the conversation around her, but her mind frequently flickered back to Jake. He was still at the edge, the weight of his silence heavy like lead. Emma, we need to decide on a date. Someone called, snapping her from her reverie. It was Clara, one of Lily's friend's mothers, her face glowing with enthusiasm. Right. How about the weekend of the festival? Emma suggested, glancing quickly at Jake again. He didn't seem to react, still lost in thought. With every passing moment, she felt a tense knot forming in her stomach. The group continued brainstorming, ideas swirled from bake sales to car washes, talent shows to community games. Each one hit Emma like a wave of adrenaline, filling her with excitement. Still, just beyond the vibrant conversations, the shadows remained for Jake, just out of reach. After the fair, I can organize a cleanup of the park, Clara suggested. We could invite everyone to pitch in. That's great, Clara. A clean park will bring people together. Emma felt her energy rise with each new idea. This was the spark she had been searching for to ignite not only a campaign to save the center, but a revival of their community. Yet, amidst the planning, she felt torn. Would this newfound momentum push Jake further away? Did he even want to be involved? The chatter around her faded as she caught sight of him again. He stood alone, his phone in hand, glancing at it with a look of frustration. She knew there was more going on in his mind than he shared. Hey Jake, she called, taking a step toward him. The room seemed to quiet down. He looked up, surprise flashing in his eyes. Yeah, join us. We're organizing our first event, she said, trying to keep her voice steady. I know you feel strongly about this community too. We need all hands on deck. Yeah, He hesitated. The uncertainty in his voice was palpable. I can't keep living in a dream world, Em. I need to focus on my bills. You know how things are. Things can change. We can change them together. Emma pressed. You know what this town means to us, to Lily. We could be the ones who bring it back. Jake shook his head, a mix of sadness and resolve creasing his brow. I wish I could see that. But right now it feels like I'm just trying to stay afloat. His honesty struck her deep. It was a reminder of the weight they all carried, each struggling with their own burdens. Then let us lift each other up, Emma said, her heartbeat quickening with passion. If we don't work together, we won't survive. You'd be surprised how quickly things could shift when we come together. She watched as the sparks of interest flickered in his eyes. He opened his mouth, a flicker of hope lighting up his expression. Maybe I could help with setup? Just for the initial one. Absolutely. We need everyone. Your experience could be invaluable. Before she could respond, the group erupted in rapturous applause, as if they sensed the slight shift in the air. Yet, even in the cheers, Emma sensed the smothering anxiety that still churned underneath. As things wrapped up for the night, Emma felt a flicker of hope for the future, but also the weight of uncertainty. Would Jake truly embrace this project? Could passion guide him back? Or would it pull them apart further down the line? With a million thoughts flooding her mind, she stepped outside, the crisp night air swirling around her. The stars glimmered above, beautiful and distant, just like the peace she craved for her family. Inside, she could hear laughter and plans unfolding, but her heart hung heavy with the burden of attachment, the fear of potential loss looming like a dark cloud. What would it take to weave their lives back together again? Emma took a deep breath, the cold air filling her lungs, and she knew they were at the brink of a transformation. But the true test loomed larger. How high was the cost of bringing this community together, and at what price would love demand its redemption? Emma stood outside the diner, the laughter inside seeming to grow fainter as her thoughts consumed her. The chill in the air nipped at her cheeks, but it was the uncertainty gnawing at her stomach that made her shiver. Jake was always there, a part of her past that felt both familiar and foreign now. Would this new community initiative be a bridge back to him, or would it widen the gap that had already begun to grow? The voices of her friends drifted out like a cheerful melody, but they felt distant to Emma, as if she were trapped in her own little world while joy unfurled around her. She took a step back inside, drawn by the warmth and the light. Clara was already rallying the troops, her voice rising above the chatter as she detailed the ways they could promote the community center. Emma forced a smile, clapping along with the others, but her heart wasn't fully in it. Jake lingered near the door, a solitary figure against the bustling backdrop. The moment their eyes met, she felt that spark of connection, electric and vulnerable, as if one glance could either heal or break them further. Emma found herself moving toward him, her pulse quickening with purpose. We're discussing the ways we can bring everyone together, she began, keeping her voice light. We've already got some great ideas. You coming on board could really help. Jake shifted his weight, hands stuffed deep in his pockets. I appreciate it, Emma. Really I do. But I don't think I'm the person you need right now. I can't take on any more than I already have. Frustration flooded her. But you can't keep hiding away. This is our chance. We're all fighting our own battles, but we can lean on each other. What if this is your turning point? He met her gaze and she sensed he was grappling with something deep, an inner conflict she wished she could ease. Maybe it is, he finally murmured. But what if it goes wrong and I fall apart? We're not here to let each other fall. You don't have to carry that weight alone. Emma stepped closer, allowing her earnestness to spill out. Let us support you. Let me support you. The moment hung in the air, heavy with possibilities. She searched his eyes, hoping to find a glimmer of trust. Instead, she met hesitation, a wall built from years of pain. But then he sighed deeply, his expression softening. You really believe we can make a difference, don't you? I do, she said, her voice stronger now. If we dive in together, we can change things. And who knows? Maybe we can help heal each other in the process. Jake's brow furrowed, but there was something different in his demeanor. A flicker of hope. Okay. Maybe I'll help with the event. Just this once. Emma's heart soared. That's all I need from you right now. One step at a time. As they turned back toward the gathering, she could feel a shift in the air. The laughter and enthusiasm began to feel more like a collective heartbeat. Still, she couldn't shake the weight of what lay ahead. The more she envisioned their project, the more she felt her own fears creeping back. What if the townspeople didn't show up? What if it all crumbled down? Each thought was like a pebble, heavy in her pocket. With a deep breath, Emma resolved to focus on the positives. They would work together, and every setback would be just one more chance to strengthen their bonds. But as her eyes sought out Jake again, ensnared by a smile breaking through his defiance, she couldn't shake the worry that this newfound partnership might not be enough to save them. "Tomorrow we'll meet to brainstorm more ideas," she said, trying to capture his attention. "I'll send you the details?" "Sounds good," he replied, his voice calmer now. Yet the shadows still lingered as they stepped back into the warmth of the diner. She couldn't shake the looming fear: would their efforts really bring unity to their community? Or was this all just a fragile dream? Emma felt the weight of their intertwined paths pressing heavily on her heart. What if the next obstacle they faced tested not only their resolve but also the very essence of who they were to each other? The following morning the sun peeked through the sleepy town, painting everything in a warm golden hue. Emma felt a mix of excitement and trepidation as she nudged herself out of bed. Today was the day they would begin shaping their vision into reality. The thought buzzed in her mind like a lively bee, but uncertainty lingered around the edges like a shadow as she brewed her first cup of coffee. She reflected on their conversation from the night before. Jake's hesitant acceptance of her invitation stirred a flicker of hope within her. Maybe, just maybe, this was the start of something new. She took a sip of her coffee, letting warmth spread through her. The familiar taste steadied her frayed nerves, but didn't dispel the doubt. With her heart racing, Emma jotted down the meeting details for Jake and sent him a quick text. "Can't wait to see you. Let us make this happen." She added a smiling emoji, hoping to inject some enthusiasm into his morning. The community center buzzed with activity as Emma arrived. Clara was already there, rallying volunteers and directing them to set up tables and chairs. The air smelled like fresh paint, with laughter mixed in, a comforting reminder that they were all here for a common purpose. "Hey, look who's here," Clara called out, her warm smile infectious. "Ready to change the world one event at a time?" Emma chuckled nervously. "I hope so. Just waiting for Jake to arrive." "Ah, the elusive Jake. You think he'll come?" Clara's brow arched with playful skepticism. "He said he would." "I think he's realizing he can't keep hiding forever," Emma replied, trying to project confidence she didn't entirely feel. Just then the door swung open and Jake stepped in. He looked a bit disheveled, but there was a warmth in his smile when his eyes met Emma's. Her stomach flipped at the sight. It was the simplicity of his presence grounding her. "Hey," he said softly, walking closer. "Sorry I'm a little late. I got held up." "It's fine. We're just glad you're here," Emma assured, her voice laced with sincerity. "We're brainstorming ideas for the event. Anything you want to contribute?" Jake paused, glancing around the room. I could help with some activities. Maybe a game or two." "That sounds perfect." Emma felt a flood of relief wash over her. "We can make it a fun family day, something for everyone." As ideas began to flow, laughter filled the room. The group started throwing out suggestions like confetti, each one bursting with hope and excitement. Emma watched Jake as he gradually opened up. His enthusiasm sparked, and with it, her own hope rekindled. But in the back of her mind lingered that familiar fear. What if he stepped back? What if the friendly camaraderie wasn't enough to hold him? Yet every genuine smile he shared with the group felt like a small victory. As lunch rolled around, they paused to eat, and Emma sat next to Jake. "You know, I was worried you wouldn't show up," she admitted candidly. "I almost didn't," he confessed, his eyes shifting away. "But something pushed me to come. Maybe it was you, or maybe I'm just tired of being alone. This feeling, it's normal. We all have it," Emma said softly. "But I believe we can conquer the loneliness together." Jake nodded, his gaze steady. "I've got a long road ahead of me. But if this is the first step, I want to take it." Each moment felt like a gentle embrace. Emma's heart swelled still. An uneasy knot twisted in her stomach. Their paths were colliding. But what lay beyond this small gathering? Just then, Clara burst back into their conversation. "Guys, I just had an idea. What if we put out an open call for stories? We could weave them into the event, pull in everyone's experiences, and really bring the community together." Emma's eyes widened, that tension sharpening into focus. There was potential here, but the challenge was enormous. Would they be able to gather enough stories? Her mind raced with possibilities and with fears. Jake's voice cut through her thoughts. "That's brilliant. Stories connect people. It can turn the event into something meaningful." As they rallied, Around Clara's idea, Emma felt both exhilarated and terrified. Could this truly be their answer? And what if they uncovered something deeper along the way? With a deep breath, she realized they were venturing into uncharted territory, perhaps balanced on the edge of healing. Yet, beneath the surface, she pondered the true weight of their journey. Would sharing their stories mend what was broken, or unravel it further? One thing was clear: this was just the beginning, and she could feel the stakes rising. What would they uncover about themselves as they moved forward together? As the meeting wrapped up, Emma felt a burst of energy start to fade, replaced by a heavy weight that settled in her chest. The laughter and chatter faded to a distant hum as she locked eyes with Jake. He was leaning back in his chair, brows furrowed, lost in thought. She wished she could read his mind. After lunch we should talk about those stories, Emma suggested, trying to keep her voice bright. Really talk. Come up with a strategy. Yeah, Jake replied, his tone contemplative. I think we need to dive deep into this. Could really resonate with people. His words hung in the air, leaving Emma both hopeful and fearful. What were they really getting into? Memories began to bubble up, moments she had buried, deep grief, loss, fragments of her past she had yet to share. Would opening this door lead to healing or hurt? Clara clapped her hands together, disrupting Emma's spiral. All right, team. Let us break for lunch, gather some fuel and brainstorm. I can whip up sandwiches if everyone brings something fun to share. With a collective cheer they all dispersed. Emma grabbed Jake's arm before he could drift away. Hey, can we talk while we eat? Sure, he replied, a hint of curiosity in his eyes. They moved toward a quieter corner, where the noise of laughter felt less overwhelming. Emma fished out her notepad and scribbled some ideas down, her hand trembling as she debated sharing her own story. Okay, so what's your take? She asked, keeping her tone light. Do you have any stories in mind? Something from your life? Jake stared into his cup of water, swirling the ice around absent-mindedly. I don't know, I guess I've never really thought my experiences mattered much. It's always felt like everyone else's stories were worth telling. You know? Emma felt a pang in her heart. But they do matter, Jake. Everyone has something valuable to share, something that could help someone else. His gaze flicked to hers, and for a brief moment, Emma glimpsed the flicker of vulnerability behind his usual reserve. Maybe you're right. I just worry that if I open up, it'll turn into a mess. Emma leaned closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. Sometimes messes are where we find clarity or connection. He nodded slowly, as if weighing her words. How do you share something so personal without a safety net? Emma hesitated, knowing she had yet to land her own feet firmly on the ground. We draw strength from each other, I think. Knowing we're not alone in this, it means everything. As they spoke, an idea began to sprout in her mind. What if we started by sharing something small? A short anecdote, maybe? Like an icebreaker? An icebreaker, huh? Jake's lips curled into a small smile. I may just have something for that. Just then, Clara returned with a platter of sandwiches, brightening the mood as she set it down with flourish. Hope you two were brainstorming the next bestseller. She teased. Emma laughed, grateful for the reprieve from the heaviness that had enveloped them. More like a starter, she shot back, glancing at Jake, whose expression had lightened as they ate. More voices joined in, filling the air with light chatter. Together, they began weaving plans for the event and building the framework for the stories they hoped to share. With every laugh and exchange, Emma felt the earlier tensions fade. But just when the day seemed to smooth out, Emma caught sight of a woman entering the community center. Her eyes were wide and filled with a mixture of anticipation and anxiety. Emma's heartbeat quickened when she realized it was Sophie, someone from the neighborhood known for her heartbreaking story. What would Sophie share? Would it be related to loss or perhaps resilience? A part of Emma felt drawn to her, while another part felt a stab of fear. Jake, do you see her? Emma whispered, pointing discreetly. Jake's gaze followed hers, and a look of understanding crossed his face. This could change everything. As Sophie approached, Emma felt a rush of mixed emotion, excitement for the stories to come, and fear of what they might unearth. What would this new addition mean for them all? Each moment felt like a step further into a labyrinth, complete with its twists, turns, and inevitable heartbreak. They had started to unravel a path ahead, but what awaited them around the corner remained uncertain. And with that uncertainty, Emma thought, was the very essence of healing. Would they find the courage to share? Or would they falter? The journey beckoned her forward, promising revelations and connections they had yet to imagine. One thing was for sure: today might be the day that changed everything. But would they be ready for the revelations soon to unfold? Emma's heart raced as Sophie drew closer. The chatter around them faded, and the vibrant atmosphere grew tense. Emma noticed the way Sophie's hands shook slightly at her sides, how the corner of her mouth quirked as if she were trying to smile but couldn't quite manage. "Hey," Emma said, forcing her voice to steady. "Are you okay?" Sophie took a deep breath, her chest rising and falling dramatically. I'm here to share. I've been working on this for a while." "Good," Jake chimed in, his voice supportive. "We're ready whenever you are." Emma felt the connection in the air, the silent understanding that they were all about to step into something powerful. Sophie nodded, gathering herself. I've struggled to find the words. My story. It's been weighing on me, but I think sharing it might be the only way to start forgiving myself." Her confession hung in the air, thick and raw. Emma could feel her own chest tighten. What kind of burden had Sophie been carrying? "Take your time," Emma offered softly, her own heart beating in rhythm with Sophie's vulnerability. "I lost my sister 5 years ago," Sophie began, and silence enveloped the room as everyone leaned in. "She was my best friend. I should have done something. I always thought we had more time, Emma's breath caught. The pain was palpable. She glanced at Jake, whose focus was entirely on Sophie, and she realized they were all holding their breaths, creating a cocoon of empathy around the woman who was so bravely standing up. "I didn't just lose her," Sophie continued, her voice trembling slightly. "I lost a part of myself. Afterward, all I could think about was what I should have said, what I should have done." Behind Sophie's eyes, Emma saw the flickers of pain that mirrored her own unvoiced struggles. Would her own past echo in Sophie's story? Was she ready to open up too? "I started coming here, hoping that maybe someone else could share their pain with me," Sophie added. "But I never expected that I would be the one talking." "Isn't that crazy?" "It wasn't crazy, it was brave." Emma felt a swell of admiration for Sophie. Suddenly, Clara joined in, her voice warm and inviting. "This isn't just your story, Sophie. It's our story. We're all connected in ways we don't even realize." Sophie's eyes shimmered. "Thank you. I just hope sharing it helps someone." Emma squeezed Jake's hand, grounding herself. "It will. You don't know who might need to hear it." As they all sat in the shared silence after Sophie's revelation, Emma felt something change in the air. This moment was more than just a story. It was a ripple effect, transformative and raw. "Could we all go around and share something?" Clara ventured gently. "Something small that connects us?" Emma's pulse quickened. Could she? Was the fear worth the potential connection? Jake caught her eye, offering a reassuring nod that sent warmth through her. With a deep inhale, Emma's mind raced, memories flashing like fireflies in the night. She had something to say. Just a glimpse of her truth could resonate, just like Sophie's. I lost my dad when I was young," she finally admitted, her voice small but steady. The world around her melted away, leaving just the warmth of connection in its place. "I thought I was alone in that pain until I met others like me. And maybe this is all leading me back to remembering him, to finding that piece of myself again." There was a hush as she spoke, tears threatening to spill, but her voice stronger than the weight of grief. Sophie looked at her, understanding palpable in her gaze. As they shared more anecdotes, the bonds between them solidified. Laughter broke through the tears, and suddenly, it didn't matter who had the heaviest story. They were just people together, healing in their own ways. But as the last voice exclaimed laughter, a shadow crept back into Emma's thoughts. Was she enough? Would her story matter? The clock ticked quietly, each second a reminder of what they had begun. Yet, that sense of urgency grew. They needed to keep this momentum going. And just as everyone began to feel a spark of hope, a sudden clap of thunder rumbled outside, slicing through their moment of camaraderie. Emma glanced at the window, and the sky darkened ominously. "What's next?" she whispered to herself, the weight of the unknown looming heavy in the air. With the thunder crackling like a warning, another voice in the back of her mind asked painfully, was this moment of connection about to be tested in ways they never anticipated? The thunder rolled again, louder this time, echoing the uncertainty that gripped Emma's heart. She could feel the tension hanging in the room, a thick veil of unease that settled on their shoulders. The light from the central bulb flickered, casting long shadows against the walls, and for a brief moment, Emma wondered if the storm outside mirrored her own growing fears. Jake shifted beside her, his warmth a comfort she desperately needed. "We can continue," he said softly, urging the group back to the connection they had just built. "The storm doesn't change our stories." Sophie nodded, her chin lifting defiantly. "Right. We're here together." There was strength in her voice now, a determination born not just from her pain but from the bonds they were forming as the rain began to pour. A soothing rhythm accompanied the tense atmosphere. Clara spoke up again. "Let us keep sharing. I want to hear from more of you." And just like that, the floodgates opened. Their stories flowed, unearthing deeper truths and painful experiences that had forged them into who they were today. A woman sitting across the room unveiled her battle with addiction, her words raw but laced with hope. "It took losing everything for me to realize what truly mattered." She met the eyes of the group, her expression fierce. "But I'm here today, fighting for a new life." Emma's heart swelled with empathy, while the storm outside seemed to ease, as if it recognized the power of their vulnerability. The air was charged, a palpable energy igniting between them with each shared story. Secrets and fears unraveling made room for healing and connection. As the hours slipped away, Emma could feel her walls crumbling. She hadn't expected this open exchange to feel so freeing. Each time they opened their mouths, a bit of burden lifted, a piece of their pain broadcast into the world and replaced with understanding. "Can I?" Emma started, the familiar knot tightening in her throat again. "Can I share more?" Clara smiled, her eyes shining with encouragement. "Absolutely. We're all ears." Emma took a breath, her heart racing. "I still carry anger about my father's death." She paused, contemplating the tears she felt pooling behind her eyes. "I don't even know where to direct it. Sometimes it's at him for leaving, sometimes at myself for not being strong enough." A deep silence echoed after her words. But the eyes of her friends held kindness, each glance reassuring her that she was not alone. Sophie's gaze was firm, understanding resonating between them. "I get that," Sophie said softly. "It's like we're holding these invisible weights. But maybe by sharing we can lighten the load together." Empowered by Sophie's words, Emma felt the urge to continue, to spill everything that had been pent up inside. "I've been scared of losing more people. It's like maybe if I don't talk about it, it won't hurt as much." As she spoke, she locked eyes with Jake, who nodded slowly, his expression filled with compassion. She could see he understood her fear. It was etched across his face. Then, the room brightened for a moment as Clara lit up. "What if we write letters to those we've lost? It could be a way to express what we never got to say. Maybe that can help lessen the fear too." A chorus of agreement swept through the group, faces brightening at the idea of channeling their grief into words. Emma felt hopeful for the first time. The thunder outside subdued to a soft pitter-patter against the windowpane. But as they began to discuss their collective plan, the lights flickered once more, plunging the room into darkness. Laughter turned to gasps, and Emma felt the familiar fear creeping back. The storm outside surged, and so did her thoughts. Was it all too much? As if sensing her anxiety, Jake reached for her hand, grounding her amidst the chaos. "We're together. We're safe. Let us keep pushing through." A flash of lightning illuminated their faces just as Emma's heart raced again. They were starting to break free. But what if the storm was a sign of more than just nature? Confusion swirling within her. But what happens if we dive too deep? And in that moment of uncertainty, the weight of her question lingered in the air, heavy and unresolved. What could they all uncover when faced with their darkest fears? The room remained cloaked in darkness, a heavy silence wrapping around them as the storm's fury raged outside. The flickering shadows danced against the walls, creating an eerie atmosphere that heightened Emma's dread. She felt like they were trapped in a bubble, floating in their own emotional storm. "Hey," Jake's voice broke through the suffocating silence, soothing yet firm. "We won't let the darkness win. Remember what we're here for." He squeezed her hand reassuringly, and the simple act ignited a spark of bravery in Emma's chest. "Right," Clara echoed, her voice firm. "We can face this together. If the lights come back on, let us read our letters to one another. If they don't, we will still share the feelings we carry inside." One by one, nods of agreement flowed around the room, a powerful unified front against the shadows. Emma felt a mix of fear and anticipation racing in her veins. The thought of articulating her grief in a letter was daunting, but perhaps not as terrifying as the prospect of not doing so. As rain hammered against the windows, the group began discussing their letters. Sophie's voice emerged first, steady and full of warmth. "I want to write to my brother. I lost him 2 years ago, and there are so many things I wish I could say." Emma watched her friend, the glow of vulnerability casting a soft light on her face. Sophie looked at each of them one by one, her expression determined. "He was my protector. I never got to say goodbye or thank him. Maybe writing it down will help me find peace." "That's beautiful," Clara said, placing a hand on Sophia's shoulder, her expression filled with sincerity. "You'll honor his memory and your pain." The words were comforting, yet Emma couldn't shake off her anxieties. What if her words were too raw, too painful? What if she spoke of feelings she was not ready to explore? Emma's mind spiraled. "I just don't know if I can open that wound. What if it hurts more than I am prepared for?" The room felt heavy again, her vulnerability exposing her fears like a wound freshly bared to the elements. "If we don't confront our fears, they'll only fester," Jake chimed in, his hand still enveloping hers. "Sometimes pain is a part of healing. It might feel messy, but we're all in this together. You have to trust us." Tears pooled in Emma's eyes, a mix of gratitude and sorrow flooding her heart. "You all make it sound so easy, but what if I can't find the right words?" Clara's voice emerged, gentle but firm. "You don't have to be perfect. Just be honest. Speak from your heart. You'd be surprised how powerful simple words can be." As the acknowledgement washed over Emma, she realized the storm outside could never compare to the tumult of feelings within her. Her heart raced, questioning if she was truly prepared to face her truths. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning lit up the room, revealing each companion's worried yet compassionate faces. The moment sparked clarity within her, and the shadows in her mind began to recede. She took a deep breath. "Okay, I'll try." The group erupted in encouraging murmurs, and the connection between them deepened. It was a fragile yet sturdy bond formed on shared pain and hopes. Emma felt new determination surging within her. Maybe unveiling her grief could invite healing, not just for her but for everyone around her. And just as they prepared to dive into their letters, the lights flickered back on, illuminating the room and their faces. A hush fell over them, eyes wide, hearts ready. But as the initial surprise settled, the unsettling sound of shattering glass echoed from outside, drawing their attention. Emma's breath caught in her throat. What was happening now? With trepidation, they turned to the window, hearts racing with fear and curiosity about what this new storm had brought. What more awaited them outside that door? The sound of shattering glass shattered the fragile calm they had woven together. Emma's heart raced, a sharp rhythm of fear resonating deep within her bones. She glanced to Jake, whose brow furrowed in concern, his grip on her hand tightening. It felt like the world outside was echoing the storms brewing within each of them, a chaotic dance of fears and uncertainties that hadn't yet been faced. "Is everyone all right?" Clara spoke up, her voice steadying the group. Their united presence felt like a protective shield against the unknown. Sophie, her eyes wide with apprehension, stepped closer to Emma and Jake, her body language betraying her calm facade. "What if it's something dangerous?" she whispered, her voice taut with worry. But something deep within Emma stirred a flicker of resolve. "It's probably just the storm. We have to stay focused on what brought us together. We can't let fear reign." Everyone nodded, the collective strength of their gazes lifting the weight of uncertainty, turning it into a shared purpose. Emma could feel it. This was the moment where everything could shift. "Stay here," Jake said, his voice low but resonant as he moved toward the window. Emma felt a pang of unease but also trust in his decision. He was stepping into the unknown, and in doing so, he was tangibly illustrating the very essence of what they were trying to embrace together. As he peered outside, the light of the diner glinted against the rain-lashed windows, casting ghostly shadows that danced behind them. Emma felt her heart flutter, torn between fear for Jake and admiration for his bravery. Would he come back unscathed? "Guys," Clara's voice broke through her spiraling thoughts. "I think it might be our community. There are people outside." Emma's heart soared, her breath catching in her throat. They were coming together. merging their determination in the face of adversity. But what if it was too late? What if the storm won? Let me speak to them, Emma found herself saying, her voice stronger than she expected. It was time to push past the fears and seize the opportunity. They needed unity now more than ever. Emerging from the suffocating tension of the diner, Emma stepped towards the entrance, each heartbeat echoing in her ears. She turned back to the group, her heart glimmering with the flickers of hope. Together we can face whatever's outside. We can show them that we believe in our community even in chaos. With that, she squared her shoulders and pushed open the door, the cool night air washing over her like a gentle balm. The storm raged outside, but she could hear murmurs of her neighbors, growing steadily louder as she stepped out. The downpour soaked her instantly, yet she felt oddly exhilarated. Rain streamed down her face like tears of joy, transforming her fear into an electric sense of purpose. She could make a difference, and so could everyone else. There they were, fellow townsfolk huddled together, some waving, others clutching umbrellas while murmuring, "We want to help." Emma's heart leaped. This was it. This was that elusive connection she had been yearning for. "Everyone," she cried, her voice rising above the storm. "We're gathering stories to unite our community. The center needs each one of us, not just for a campaign, but to bond and really be there for one another." As her words struck a chord, faces began to turn, brightening with shared understanding. The storm was indeed an obstacle, but together they could transform it into a moment of growth, like a field bursting to life after the rain. And then amidst the swelling voices she saw Jake step forward, his tall figure illuminated by a nearby streetlight. A beacon of hope, he stood tall in the storm, his gaze steady. "I'll share my story too. We can face our fears together." Emma's heart swelled wildly as cheers erupted around her like fireworks bursting in the night sky. This was more than a movement. It was a deep-seated transformation. They had turned their grief, their worry, and their pain into something that could grow, blossom, and bring their community closer. Together, standing amidst the iconic storm, Emma realized that love, raw and resilient, was the most powerful force of all. It transformed fear into connection, isolation into unity, and doubt into hope. They could weather this storm together. As the rain poured relentlessly, they began to form a circle, hand in hand, forging the bonds that had too long been frayed. They shared their stories, shouting out their truths over the thunder, each tale weaving a tapestry of connection, a community reborn. And amidst it all, Emma felt radiant. Each word spoken, each shared tear was a step taken towards healing for herself, for her children, and for Jake. They stood together, carved against the storm, a testament to love. The rain beat down, but they were now warriors ready to fight together for everything that mattered. Emma looked around, finding strength in every shared gaze, heart in every murmur of support. This was just the beginning. With renewed love and determination, they could face any storm that dared to come. And as the rain finally began to slow, the collective heart of their community beat stronger, unyielding against all odds. Together, Emma shouted, her heart full. They would prevail because love in its most beautiful form had finally found its way home. Now this is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel, so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Every like helps us reach more hearts just like yours. Tell us your reactions and feelings about this ending in the comments. We want to hear from you. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Spread the love and light.